5 seconds to spot mate in 2. White to play Nihal Sarin's position. Next, here it is black to move. White has just played pawn to a3. 5 seconds again, spot the move for black. Nihal Sarin versus Zhu Howen. Next, in this position, after rook c8, Nihal Sarin found a very nice move. Again 5 seconds, I'm moving on. And here's the fourth position after rook g1, his opponent played bishop f6 and Nihal Sarin took on f6. And this is where I want you to spot the best move for white. You've got 5 seconds. And finally, this position, his opponent has just captured a pawn on g4 and now it's white's turn. And with this, we are winding up with the warm-up positions. And at number 5, I have this position. This is Magnus Carlsen versus Nihal Sarin. And after rook takes c4, Magnus Carlsen played queen b3 in this position. Nihal attacked his opponent's queen with rook c3, and after queen a4 comes the first brilliancy. Alright, I'm going to reveal the move now. I hope the warm-up before the positions were quite useful, and I hope that you are able to find Nihal Sarin's rook takes f3. It's an exchange sacrifice aimed at destroying the king's cover. And after g takes f3, Nihal continued with queen g5 check. He repeated once, and then after that repetition, he went for queen f4 and bishop e5, threatening queen h2. And here Magnus played rook d1, and then Nihal brought his last piece into the game with rook c8, b80, bring all toys, and after queen d7, rook c2. Magnus was forced to give up the piece after queen e8 and queen f7. Later, Nihal went on to win the game. At number 4, I have this position of Nihal Sarin against Cano Nikola. And Nihal found the move here. This particular position, the move is easy, but the way he followed up, I think that is remarkable. We all can see knight takes h3, to destroy the opponent's king's cover, but the way Nihal continued, I think that was a remarkable aspect of this game. He played knight takes h3, and after bishop h3, he played queen d7 first so that he could go to g4 with his queen, and then the next moment he also got his rook to e3. And now I'm coming to this position after rook g2. Here Nihal played finishing blow. I think as I mentioned in one of the previous videos, when you are in such situations, it's very important to feel that you are about to win and get that winning blow. Again, if you consider forcing moves, rook h1 will be obvious, and of course king h1 is met by queen h3 followed by the mate on g2. So after rook h1 check, his opponent played king f2 and then came queen h3. So he's taking care of all the squares that the king could go to. For example, after rook e1, he captured and then stops king e3 with rook e8. And then after f5, queen h2, he won the game, because after queen takes f3, there is queen g1. And when his opponent played knight e2, he delivered the checkmate in 1 with queen f1. At number 3, I have this position where Mark Plotkin was white, and this happened in the Riga. It was a rapid format event, and Nihal in this position found a rook sacrifice, again aimed at destroying the king's cover. After rook takes c2, he's threatening queen takes c1 mate, so he's forcing white to capture the rook, which lures the king outside so that Nihal could give another check with rook c8. And after king d2, he captured on c1 followed by knight h4. Again, pay attention that Nihal is covering the possible escape squares of the king. And then after rook d2, he gave a check with his bishop and rook c3. For a moment it feels like, okay, white has probably secured everything, but no. Thanks to the spin, Nihal has rook takes d3, finishing the game at once. At number 2, I have this position, which is played by Boris Gelfand with the white side and Nihal Sarin obviously with the black side, and this happened in the Blitz event. Here again, after bishop d4, there is only one continuation that gives a winning advantage to black. So now take your time and see if you can spot it. Thanks to this bishop on b7, Nihal is able to conduct an attack which is just like over. It's not a question of whether the attack will succeed or not, because there's a forced winning continuation, and Nihal finds it. E takes f3 first, threatening queen g2, so e takes f3 becomes forced. A move like bishop f6 doesn't really help because there's queen g2, and let's say after king e3 you can also consider f2. Black is winning in this position, but after bishop d4, e takes f3, e takes f3, this is the moment which I consider as a brilliant one with knight g4. Very nice again. King g1 is met by bishop f3, so even king e1 is met by bishop f3, so f g4 becomes forced. And now after queen g2 check, if king e1 here, then there is this rook e8 check. The rook is also hanging. So in the game, Boris Gelfand played king e3, and then Nihal got his rook to e8 and checked the king. I mean, white has to interfere with the bishop here and then pin and win with f6. Even a check like this doesn't really help white, because after king h8, rook takes e5 is unstoppable. So after king d3, rook takes e5, queen c7, the game ended with a check. And the computer says it's made in 7, but yes, it's winning. So here in this position, Boris Gelfand resigned. And at number 1, I have this game, which I forgot to mention in another video where I did a roundup of 5 brilliant moves made by Indian players. So here I have got this opportunity because it's all about Nihal Sarin's brilliancies. So in this position, after queen c4, rook takes c6. It's an exchange sacrifice, mainly again focused on the king, because after bishop c6, queen c6, the king will start feeling the heat. He is missing the light squared bishop. Now, in addition to the topic of king safety, Nihal has an immediate threat with bishop takes f2. And so in order to combat that threat, because the queen is hanging, Noel Studer played rook c1 to protect the queen. And this position was also nominated for the best move by chess.com. You know, there was an award contest online. Here, after rook c1 comes Nihal's brilliancy. And if you watched this game already, stay here because I'm also going to reveal the answers to the 5 warm-up positions that I showed you in the beginning. In this position, Nihal found the only winning move, which is bishop f1, threatening queen g2 checkmate. On king takes f1, there is queen h1 checkmate, and on rook takes f1, there is bishop takes f2, winning the queen. Those were the 5 brilliancies of Nihal Sarin that he played in 2021. The other games were also in 2021, but they did not make it to the top 5 in my list. So I'm now going to show you the answers to the other positions. Here, after queen takes e4, Nihal finished off his opponent in style with rook takes a7. This happened in the online Olympiad, and this was against Boris Marcel. And after king a7, there is queen a5 checkmate. And then in this position, Nihal's opponent played a3. This was also in the online Olympiad. His opponent was Zhu Howen, and Nihal just took the pawn on c4. Queen c4 is met by queen f2 and queen h2 checkmate. That was the whole point. In the third example, after rook c8, Nihal saw that the bishop on d7 is unprotected, so he simply took bishop takes f7 and rook takes d7, winning the game at once. Next, we have this position. I said that after knight f6, knight f6, this is the moment I wanted you to check. This also happened, this happened in an online European Capelle online Blitz Open. This happened online, and in this position, Nihal found rook takes g7, and then after king g7, there is bishop f6, and it's lost because you see black, if you look at it visually, black has so many pieces, but none of the pieces are actually helping the king. So in case of king h7, there is this queen g2, and it's a mate. If you take the bishop, there is a rook g1, again unavoidable mate. And then after rook g7, king g7, bishop h6, if the king goes to h8, it's just queen g5 and 1-0. And here the last position, this was a very close candidate. This happened in the Gelfand challenge. This was a close candidate to number 5 or number 4 in my list. After bishop on g4, Nihal played knight g5 check. Keep in mind that in case of king h8 there is knight takes f7, so that also is very much in white's favor. So here his opponent Khademul Sharif Sarasadat, she played h takes g5, and after h g5 she went knight h6. In case of bishop h5 there is knight g3, and then knight h5 is likely to follow. So after knight h6, Nihal played a move which is very calm in nature but has a threat. He's threatening rook takes g4, and he wants to slowly build the attack because black is paralyzed on the king side. And after bishop takes e2, he simply took the bishop with queen takes e2, and after queen d7, he follows it up with a simple move like f4, but has a devastating effect because there's f5, f6 also in the air. And then after queen takes a4, it just prevents queen a1 check, plays king b1. She went back with queen d7, but after f5 she resigned because white has too many threats. A sample line could be, let's say if you go b5, then there is just bishop d5, and then you can just play rook takes h6. The point is that in case of king g8, queen h2 is menacing, and in case of bishop takes h6 also there is queen h2, queen f6 with f6 is going to end the game. So those were all the games of Indian superstar Nihal Sarin. We saw great games of Nihal Sarin. Apart from the games that I covered today, I think there were many other games, like there were queen sacrifices that I covered of Nihal. So yes, 2021 was a great year for Nihal. I think he is definitely the Indian Junior of the Year because of all the magic that he showed in the over-the-board events. He also managed to win some of them. So with that video, I would like to wish Nihal Sarin all the best for 2022. And dear viewers, I hope you liked my examples that I picked. I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care and bye-bye.